All right, so this is the tutorial video for solid number 6, the assignment that we're going to be working on in SolidWorks again. And the assignment instructions say to create the following object in SolidWorks. When we're done, we are going to be placing the front, top, right side view and isometric views on an A4 landscape title block. And then we'll put our name and the drawing name in. I do mention again that you need to be careful of what initial view you select or what initial plane you select, and whatever plane you do create or select at the beginning of your drawing, make sure that you're also going to draw that specific view on the assignment. So if you choose the front plane, make sure you draw the front view. If you select the top plane, make sure you draw the top view. And if you select the right side plane, make sure you draw the right side view. That will make sure that when we're done, when we place this on paper, that it'll place the proper views in the proper locations. Okay, so I'm giving you the assignment sheet from the book. I will also include my drawing as a reference, and I will include this tutorial video as well. For your help on this assignment. So let's take a look at the assignment from the book. Here's your front view, your right side view, and the top view. So basically what this is this is a square or rectangular shaped brick right here that has the back slot in the middle cut out of it. And on the top wedge and the bottom wedge, there is a triangular notch cut in them. On the front of this brick, there is a nose that runs all the way down the front of it, and that nose has some sawtooth cuts out of it. And so let's take a look at the overall sizes here. The overall height of this thing is 5.25. The overall length of it is 3 inches, and the overall width is 2.25. Of the initial brick here, it says that the nose that sticks out the front, this nose right here, is 1 inch deep. That would be this measurement. So that means the back end, this back brick, is 2 inches deep. It doesn't give us that, but we can do simple math to figure that out. It says here that the thickness of the top and bottom are 0.75, while the thickness of this piece here is only 0.62. This notch is it says 30 degrees from horizontal here, which would mean this angle on the inside here, this inside angle would be double that, would be 60. And there's a 0.38 measurement on both top and bottom. It doesn't tell us how deep this measurement goes in, because if we know the starting location, the ending location, and the angle, then we don't need to know how deep that angle goes. It looks like there is each of the notches are 1.38 inches tall, and they go in 0.75. So with those two measurements, we don't need to know the angle. And then whatever is left over, I guess, is what is this top lip of this thing here. All right, well, we can get started with that. Let's go into SolidWorks and we will start a new drawing. Okay, so we're going to go in SolidWorks here. We're going to go new, create a new part. Okay. And I'm going to start on the front view again. So front view, I'm going to go to this normal 2. And I'm going to draw starting with a rectangle. So I'm going to go sketch, sketch, rectangle. And I'll start in this bottom corner. The Smart dimension is what I'm going to start with, and we'll go with the height of this is supposed to be 5.25. Oh, I put 6.26, 5.25, enter. And the width, single click and single click. The width is supposed to, or sorry, the length of this front view is going to be 2 inches. Okay. Check mark that I'm done with the dimension, exit the sketch, and make sure the sketch is highlighted here. Go to Features, Extrude Boss Base, and the total width of our object is 2.25. So I'm going to highlight this, 2.25, enter. And done. Good. So here's the start of this thing. So now we're going to cut the top edges. So let's see. When I started, I was on the front view. I just got to make sure I'm on. Okay, so we're going to cut off this here. So I'm going to go this view, normal to, and I'm going to cut this section out right here. So I'm going to go sketch, rectangle, single click with a rectangle, and I need to dimension this. So the thickness of the top piece is 0.75. So from here, single click, to here, single click again, 0.75, enter. Same thing on the bottom, single click, 0.75, enter. And the back thickness is 0.62. Single click, 0.62. Okay, so there's all my dimensions. It's fully defined according to the bottom part here. Check mark, exit the sketch, highlight the sketch here, go Features, Extrude Cut, and this is going to be cut through all. Good. So now let's go up to the top here, normal to, and let's cut this notch out of here. So it's a triangle. I want to be careful that I make sure that I put the point, and this thing comes down at a point here. I want to make sure that the pointed angle of this thing, the tip of this triangle that we're going to create, is in line with the midpoint of this line. It's got to be locked in with the midpoint of this line. If it's not, then the tip of the angle could be anywhere, and even though we have our angle correct, the tip of our angle may not be in the right location. So just keep that in mind as we draw this triangle. So again, I'm going to go sketch. I'm going to draw a line, and I'm going to start somewhere down here on the edge. And when I come up here, I want to make sure that I align myself with the midpoint. That is important. Okay, so just come this direction, come back to the edge here, and then complete your triangle. So we have a complete triangle here. Done. Let's smart dimension this now. So from the corner here, from this little point, I got to make sure I get the exact point of the corner. It turns into that orange dot. Click, come to this dot, click, and this measurement is going to be 0.38. Now when I do this, notice that the center point here should remain in line with the center point. It did not, did it? Okay, so here's what I want to do. If it does not do that, then I want to make sure that the midpoint of this is in line with the midpoint of this. So let me finish measuring this off. Smart dimension between here and here, 0.38. And I want to make sure that I set this center and this midpoint I want them to be horizontal to each other. So let me check mark that I'm done with this temporarily here. Oh, actually, let me put in my angle. I'm going to do this as well. So let me click on this and here, and this has got to be a 60-degree angle. Okay, now I'm going to set, let me done with my dimensions. I'm going to click on this point. I'm going to hold down the control key, and I'm going to go to the midpoint of this line here. So I selected both of those by holding down the control key. Notice point 1 and point 2. I'm going to say that those have to be horizontal to each other. Okay, and it aligns those two perfectly up with the middle. And check mark. So we just set them horizontal to each other. So now I'm going to highlight the sketch. Let me exit the sketch first. So I'm done with the sketch. I want to make sure that it's highlighted. Go to feature, cut, and I'm going to make sure that when we cut this, we cut through all so that it goes through the bottom as well. Check mark. Okay. So we cut both the top piece and the bottom piece. But it was important to make sure that that center point was in line with the middle of this wall here. Okay, good. So now let's go to this face over here. We're going to build that nose off the front. So this face, normal to. And we're going to create a sketch with a rectangle. And my rectangle, make sure I turn the top line orange and drag out. Make sure it stops on the bottom. Okay. Let's give this rectangle some sizes. So smart dimension. And I know that the thickness of this thing, so this has got to be 0.75. And I know the distance from here to here has got to be 0.75. And now it's fully defined. I don't need to tell it this because it already knows the whole length. And now it knows this and this. So the computer can generate what that size is. Okay, good. So we're done with that. We're exit the sketch. It did not highlight it again, so I need to physically click on this, single click to highlight it. Feature, extrude boss, and we want to stick out, we want this thing to stick out just 1 inch. So let me highlight this, 1, enter, and check mark. All right, so we're getting there. Now we're going to work on this face. So let me highlight this face, normal to. And we're going to create some zigzags here. And I'm going to create a few of them. So we've got 3 saw teeth are basically what we're going to create. So I'm going to go sketch with a line. I'm going to start it at the bottom edge. I'm going to come up into here somewhere and over. And I think I can notice if I go at the same angle as this line, oops, now it's got an arc going on here. I'm going to have to, because I started that and I stopped it and then I went again, it wants to create an arc. So I'm going to have to hit escape and re-select a line here. I am going to, I've got a couple of things I could do. I could either start it and continue to draw the zigzags and then draw 1 line down, connecting everything. Let's try that just to see if that works. I don't think I have to create individual triangles here. So let's go from here. If I go at the same angle to the same, and let me just come up to here somewhere, click and over. I'm going to go up one more time to here, click, and over. And now I'm going to go all the way down to the front to here. Okay, so I created those. Now we have to add in our dimensions. Smart dimension. I know that from this point here to this point here, there's got to be 1.38. And I know that from this point to this point, there's got to be 1.38. And the same with this last one, from point to point, 1.38. Good. Now all three of these lines have to be 0.75. So here, 0.75. Notice these two moved at the same time because I used the same angle. So I don't need to measure this one because when I drew this angle, I made it the same as this angle and it gave me the parallel line. So I just need to do this one. You may have to do that one as well. 0.75. All of mine are fully defined now. Again, if you have any blue lines in these, that means you're going to have to give all the measurements here. So all of mine are fully defined. So I'm done with that. Exit. It's highlighted already, so I can go feature, cut, and it's not quite sure what to cut. So I'm going to have to select, I want this to cut, and this to cut. I physically had to click on them because it wasn't sure. It didn't know whether to cut this part or whether to cut the insides. So if it ever wonders what to cut, simply in this area here, just select on the face, on the drawing itself, what it is that you want to cut. And we're going to go through all. Check mark. And there's our final product. All set. Let me go to isometric view. That looks good. Let's save this. So save as, and this is solid 6, and this is figure I think it's 12-83. This is figure 12-83. Good. Let's now create a new drawing. Okay. Browse all the way down to the bottom. A for landscape. Okay. Here's my 12-83. Again, if you don't get yours, simply go to View Layout here. Click on Model View, and it should show it right here in this box. If it doesn't, you'll have to go click on Browse, and you'll have to browse wherever you saved it as. That's where you'll have to find it. So mine shows up here. I'm just going to double click on it. I want to make sure I start by clicking the front view here. This is vitally important. Click on the front view so that you can place the front view to start. Front view, top view, side view, isometric view. Let me check mark that I'm done. Let me grab the isometric view and slide it over. While it's still highlighted, let me turn off the hidden lines and make sure that my hidden lines stay turned on with the front view, top view, and right side view. I don't have any circles, so I don't have any center lines. All of my hidden lines are already shown. So now we just have to check mark that that's all done. Let me change the title block. So come up here somewhere, right mouse click, edit sheet format. I'm going to right mouse click. I just double clicked on these words here. I'm going to change the font size. So I right mouse click, go to font, change to points, change to something that's actually going to fit in the area that we have available. Let me double click in here, put in my name. And I'm actually going to double click in, highlight this, right mouse click and go font. And I'm going to change to points. Also choose something that will fit my name in there nice. That looks fine. So let me come back up here, right mouse click and go edit sheet. That turns off the editing and it brings back my drawing. We're all set here. Let me do a save as. This is solid 12-83, solid 6 as a drawing. So save. But also let me save it as a PDF so that I can submit that into Canvas. So we'll do that as well. Save as. You can leave it the same file name, just change to a PDF. Save that PDF. And then that's what you'll submit for your drawing. I hope that was helpful.